Education Department, Datin Haji Haliza binti Hussein, the excellent principal of SMK Putrajaya, Precinct 11-1, Wan Nur Fariza binti Muhammad Idris, the Deputy of Students Development Sector, Putrajaya Education Department, Wan Maizatul Arzia binti Omar, the Head of Assistant Director, Students Talent Development, Putrajaya Education Department, the Honorable Judges, teachers in charge, the participants, and to all present here this morning. Welcome to the closing ceremony of virtual English language debate Tan Sri Datuk Seri Panglima Dr. Abdul Rahman Arshad Trophy Challenge Competition 2022. First of all, to begin our occasion today, I would like to invite Anas Hazi bin Ahmad to lead the prayer recitation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, we express our gratitude to you for allowing us to attend the closing ceremony of virtual English language debate Tan Sri Dato Sri Panglima Dr. Abdul Rahman Arshad Trophy Challenge Competition 2022 on this auspicious morning. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. We ask you for the safety of our religion and the welfare of our body. O Allah, Lord of the implementing authority, make the days that we have gone through, starting with your mercy, continue with your blessing, and end with the forgiveness. And also make the days that we have gone through with guardians and end with the victory of excellence. Ya Allah, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, let our effort as a means to enlighten and convince ourselves that the personal safety of either outer or inner is a prerequisite for achieving happiness and excellence in various fields. For Allah, grant us faith and strength in order to face the challenge of life during the transition period and in the face of life in this new millennium. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, Ya Allah, Ya Muhammad, show us guardians and adjust our path and ways to achieve happiness and glory. Let us listen to people who like the good things. Let us avoid doing the bad and evil things. Ya Allah, bless our life in this meeting and gathering and prevent us from harm and unfortunate events. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Anas Hazi, for the prayer. On behalf of the school, we feel very honored for the presence of teachers and students from the participating schools today. We would also like to express our greatest gratitude to the Putrajaya State Education Department for giving us the opportunity and trust to organize this competition. Without further ado, we would like to invite Puan Haja Fariza binti Ahmad, the State Director of Putrajaya Education Department, to deliver her speech. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you very much, Ahmad Mukhlis bin Abdul Ghani, our MC this morning. Also, thank you to Anas Haris leading our prayer just now. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. A very good morning. I bid to the organizing committee members, dedicated teachers and all educators, especially to Cik Nofariza binti Muhammad Idris, Deputy Director of the Student Development Sector, JPWPP, Datin Haja Haliza binti Husin, Principal of SMK Putrajaya Precinct 11-1, Wan Mazatul Arzia binti Omar, Senior Assistant Director Students Talent Development, JPWPP, all the judges, teachers, and all the debaters. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the school because of to the events. Thank you for showing your devotion, commitment, and effort from the beginning of this competition up to this grand final. To all the honorable judges, many thanks for your time and for sharing your expertise with us. I'm sure everyone, including the student, has gained a lot of knowledge and wisdom from this experience. Datin and members all of the floor from this competition, it is hoped that awareness is enhanced among our students on the importance of English language, since it is an essential part of in our daily life, whether in a school or at the workplace. Let's continue to inspire each other. It is my hope that the main objective of this competition are achieved with this, to introduce and implement a culture of speech in a healthy competition. Secondly, applying positive value and attitude. And last but not least, to improve the ability to think critically and analytically in about current issues based on traditional argument, discussion, or expression, research, and analysis of the fact which can be accounted for. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan yang dirahmati Allah, program hari ini bukan saja untuk memantapkan penguasaan bahasa Inggeris dalam kalangan murid-murid, tetapi ia selari dengan konsep sekolahku sejahtera, iaitu dia dalam elemen artikulasi. Program ini membolehkan murid-murid kita untuk berhujah menggunakan hujah yang berfakta dan disokong oleh data-data bagi memperkukuhkan apa yang ingin disampaikan. Sesuai juga dengan elemen adab dan sopan di dalam sekolahku sejahtera, di mana jika kita bertentangan pendapat tetapi dalam kita menengahkan atau memperkuatkan hujah kita, kita mestilah tidak lupa kepada adab sopan kita sebagai seorang orang Melayu dan terutama kita yang beragama Islam. Sesuai juga dengan konsep sekolahku sejahtera, di mana mempunyai jati diri yang tinggi. Kita cintakan bahasa negara kita dan bahasa yang kita gunakan. Selain daripada bahasa kita, bahasa Melayu, juga kita memertabatkan bahasa Inggeris sesuai dengan Pelan Pembangunan Pendidikan Malaysia. Salah satu bidang keberhasilan yang ingin kita tonjolkan dalam murid kita ialah kemahiran di bahasa. Sekali lagi, saya ingin merakamkan jutaan terima kasih dan tahniah kepada tuan rumah, terutama pengetua dan keseluruhan anggota jawatankuasa yang telah berjaya melaksanakan program ini dengan jayanya. Marilah kita sama-sama berdoa semoga apa yang kita hajatkan dan niatkan dimakbulkan oleh Allah SWT, dan saya doakan murid-murid kita akan terus cemerlang dan dapat mengharumkan nama Putrajaya di peringkat yang lebih tinggi. Sekian wabillahi taufiq. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih.
Thank you, Puan Hajah Fariza binti Ahmad, for the inspiring speech. Ladies and gentlemen, now I would like to invite Datin Hajah Haliza binti Husin, the excellent principal of SMK Putrajaya Precinct 11-1, to give away the gift to Puan Hajah Fariza binti Haji Ahmad, the State Director of Putrajaya Education Department. Thank you, Datin Haja Hadiza binti Hussein, for your willingness to give away the gift. For your information, there are 12 debate teams from various schools in Putrajaya have taken part in this competition. Today, the final will be between Team 1 and Team 2 from SMK Putrajaya, Precinct 16-1. Let us pass the mic over to our speaker, Nisrin Basira binti Nazri, to begin the battle. Thank you again to our guest of honor, Puan Haja Fariza binti Haji Ahmad, for being with us today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akmal. This is Tan Sri Datuk Sri Panglima Dr. Abdul Rahman Arshad Challenge Trophy English Language Debate Competition of 2022. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the grand final of the Trophy English Language Debate Competition of the year 2022. First and foremost, I would like to introduce our quick-witted debaters that made it to this grand final. On the government side, our students from SMK Putrajaya Precinct 16-1 from Team 2. And for the opposition side, we've got students from SMK Putrajaya Precinct 16-1 from Team 1. And now we have Faiz Nazmi bin Ahmad Nazrin as the Prime Minister, and Iman Irdina as the second proposer, and finally Muhammad Wafi as the third proposer. For the opposition leader, we have Wafa Iman, and we have Muhammad Imran Shafi as the second proposer, and finally, of course, we have Imran Naim as the third proposer. And today we have our panel of sagacious and competent adjudicators. Firstly is Ms. Tan Wan Ying as our Chief Judge. Next is Ms. Irina binti Sanusi, Ms. Kamila binti Musa, Mr. Nityanandan, son of Munyandi, and also we have Ms. Raja Nurun Nadia binti Raja Baharuddin. Now, allow me to read up some of the rules. Number 1, each debater will be given 8 minutes for their speech. Number 2, the bell will be rung once after the first minute and once at the end of the 7th minute. This is to allocate time for point of information. Number 3, the bell will be rung twice at the end of the 8th minute to signal the debater that their time is up. Number 4, a maximum of 3 minutes will be given to both teams to prepare for their reply speech. Number 5, during the reply speech, the timekeeper will ring the bell once at the 3rd minute to signal that the debater has 1 minute left. At the end of the 4th minute, the bell will be rung twice to signal the end of the debate. Without any more dilly-dallying, let us begin today's grand final round with the motion. The House believes that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones. With this, I would like to personally wish all debaters good luck, and I would like to call upon the Prime Minister from the government side as the first debater.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Mr. Faiz, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll start in three, two, one. Assalamu alaikum and salam sejahtera. A very good morning I'd like to bid to the esteemed judges and timekeeper, my valiant opponents, Madam Speaker, and ladies and gentlemen of the House. We, as the government, are in full support of today's motion, that being that this House believes that students do not need diverse applications in order to meet current trends on their smartphone, under the case line that it is unnecessary and only serves to disrupt the process of education. I, as the Prime Minister, shall bring contextual definition to today's motion and also present one point to support today's motion. My second speaker, Ms. Iman, shall rebut the first speaker of the opposition while introducing two more points to support today's motion, while my third speaker, Mr. Wafi, shall not introduce any more new points, but only defend our position as the government while rebutting the side of the opposition. Now, let's try understand today's motion a bit. We, on the side of the government, have identified five words and or phrases that need highlighting here. First is students, which we have defined as a person enrolled in an educational institution. Second, need, require something because it is important and not just because it is desirable. Three, diverse applications, various programs or pieces of software designed to fulfill a particular purpose, in this case, concerning education. Four, current trends, the general direction in which something is developing or changing in the present moment. Of course, these trends are also concerning education. And five, smartphone, a mobile phone that performs many of the functions of a computer. Now, I would like to clarify that we are advocating for non-diverse applications to meet current trends, that being one application for each use and each category of education. So let's try open up today's case a bit. Let's try have a better understanding of why we're debating here, why we're here even. So I'm sure all of us are aware of the recent developments in the world over the past 2 years. The multiple surges and waves of COVID-19 have forced the government to implement the movement control order and this and prohibited physical classroom learning. And so many schools and institutions have had to adopt learning at home or online learning. So education has trended towards these conducive online learning environments, video conferencing, and teachers transforming in or taking on the role of facilitators of education when they are in these online environments. And we have journeyed through many applications such as ClassKick and Whiteboard. But looking at this current state of affairs, the status quo, we are currently using Ministry of Education accounts or Google accounts to be more specific, which are, and everybody knows the quality of Google as they are such a ginormous corporation. And we are trying to guarantee the quality over quantity in this case. Why have diverse applications when you have standardized ones which are more efficient and are less confusing? They are more uniform and centralized. Rather than having to choose between multiple applications which serve the same purpose, such as Canva and Google Slides, we should only have to choose one, not both, as education is the number one priority for these students. All right, that is the end goal here, to educate these students following the current trends, being that in an online learning environment. So that brings me to the government's first point, being that standardized learning environments increases productivity. Now, I'd like to share some of the benefits of having a standardized learning environment. Let's take the case of Google, who have multiple such applications, which are all standardized and centralized on one account. Now, one benefit is file sharing. Because they're on the same platform, you don't need to bother with exporting files and transforming them into different file formats. You just need to send them to Google Drive, and then the rest is simple from there. It's clear cut, it's direct, it's straightforward. We're getting rid of the unnecessary middlemen here and making education simpler as it should be. When we are online, it should be easily facilitated and time efficient, therefore increasing productivity. Next is live editing. It so live editing, just as I have stated, it creates a conducive learning environment online and as if they were in a physical classroom and involves the active participation of all students, therefore contributing to the overall quality of the education they are receiving. And the last benefit I'd like to outline here is that you only need one account for this standardized learning environment. When you log into Google, there's only one email address, one username, one password you need to remember, as opposed to logging into Quizzes or Canva, where you need to sign in again and again and again. So let's try let's have a brief overview of what I'm trying to present here. What's the main message? We as on the side of the government are proposing a standardized learning environment as opposed to the use of multiple diverse applications in the field of education. When we are considering the future of these students, education is their number one priority. And as such, the process should not be needlessly difficult and have unnecessary processes in between them. To get from point A to point B, why take the long road when it is more direct and efficient to take a more standardized approach? We don't need to look all over the place, or we don't need to needlessly discuss what platform we're trying to use when there is already one that is proven to be efficient and already implemented by many schools in Malaysia, as many of them use Ministry of Education accounts. Now, we are on the side of the government, we are not saying that we do not need applications at all. We are merely implying that our that the array of applications that we are using do not need to be diverse. They just need to be simple, straight to the point. So I'd like to emphasize again our stance and our case line, being that we support today's motion that this House believes that students do not need diverse applications in order to meet current trends on their smartphones. Under the case line that it is unnecessary and disrupts the process of education. With that, I hope I have delivered a compelling argument in order to support today's motion on the side of the government. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faiz. Now we're waiting for the adjudicators.
Judges, the time was 7 minutes and 35 seconds. 7 minutes and 35 seconds.
Judges, may we proceed?
Let's proceed, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Okay. Now it's the time for us to hear from the opposition leader, Ms. Wafa Iman. Please, the floor is all yours.
I will be starting my speech in 3, 2, 1. A very good morning to honorable judges, my worthy opponents, accurate timekeepers, and members of the House. So we, as the opposition line, we are here today to oppose the motion given by the House that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones. So ladies and gentlemen, we oppose this motion under the case line that diverse applications brings a plethora of convenience towards students. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I ask you, why should we keep up with current trends, especially trends in education? So, by being more involved and keeping up with current trends, especially in trends in education, it ensures that we are not left behind in this world that is currently progressing continuously, especially in aspects of technology. Now, before I start, I would like to state my roles, which is I am the first speaker of the opposition, and I will be stating to you my arguments and will be rebutting the first government. My second speaker will be rebutting the government and will be introducing his points. And my third speaker will not be introducing any new points, but will be rebutting the government and will be summarizing our points and defending the opposition line. Now, moving on to my rebuttals for the first government. The first government stated that they simply want to generalize education in one account, online education using one account. It stated that with one account, you can do many things and you don't have to go through the hassle of logging in different accounts. But ladies and gentlemen, they use the example of email accounts, or may I restate that, Google accounts. But these Google accounts, they can be used for many apps. If a student wants to download a different app on their smartphone, they would have to use that Google account. And ladies and gentlemen, I remind you, the keyword in this motion here is smartphones. And mind you that in smartphones, even if you use Google accounts to log in to, for example, Google Slides, Google Docs, or Google Classroom, you will have to download those apps in your smartphone. So does it really make a difference, even if you only use one account, but you still need to download many apps to make sure that you receive the convenience of these apps. And now, moving on to my first argument, which is that diverse applications help to implement the latest educational development or trends in learning processes. So what I mean by this is that technology is more involved in education these days. And ladies and gentlemen, we are in the 21st century where technology is all around us. Everywhere we look, we see technology. Everywhere we look, there's a variety of technologies. And with this easy access to technology, how do you expect these students to not use it to the fullest? These students who grew up with technology that is progressing and who grew up being surrounded by technology, you would expect them to use it to the fullest. How would you expect them to not take advantage of that chance to use that technology to ease their lives and their studies? So why just choose one application when you can use a diverse and variety of applications so that it will be more convenient for you, ladies and gentlemen? And now, not only that, but it also helps them to explore more on current trends, especially in education. For example, our teachers, they sometimes assign us with assignments where we are required to make videos. So when these students want to complete the assignments, when they want to make these videos, the teachers won't ask them to limit them only to one application, for example, TikTok, to make this video. So they won't be limited to only one application. They could use other applications that cater mostly to video editing. For example, InShot or CapCut. These apps are apps that cater more for video editing. And when they cater more for video editing, they give these students more detailed features so that they can make more detailed videos and improve their video quality. So ladies and gentlemen, by this, we can see that even our educators are endorsing a variety of applications accepted.
You said that we'd still need to use Google accounts in order to log into other or download other applications. But still, for applications such as Quiz and Canva, you need to use other accounts as well.
If you know that when you want to sign up or log into an account, you're given choices. You can either log in using a Google account or log in using a Twitter account or Facebook account. They have given that choice. And if you say that it is simple to use just one account, which in this case is maybe a Google account, then they will still have to use the Google account to log in into many other applications. Okay, so continue, ladies and rejected. Thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, yes, these students, they do need diverse applications on their smartphones, not only so that they can keep up with current trends in education, but also so that they have easy access to modern ways of learning, ladies and gentlemen. And now to my second argument is that not all applications cater to certain types of trends. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to remember that these students, they are young. They not only want to keep up with education, but they also want to keep up with what is going on in the world. They also want to experience entertainment of their own. So we can't disregard that they're still children, that they're still students. They're still young people who want to experience entertainment. So if you're saying that they only need one application so that they can only prioritize their studies, are you saying that you want to stress them out just because of that
You know why?
and not accept it?
We didn't state that current trends involving entertainment. We are only concerning education here.
I'm sorry, but maybe you heard me wrong. But I'm saying that we the opposition are saying that these students don't only want to prioritize their education, but they also may want to keep up with entertainment trends. Thank you. And now continuing. And don't you think that it's best to get proper information on these trends from proper apps, from apps that cater more to certain types of trends? For example, a student wants to keep up with a dancing trend. They could download TikTok, and if they want to keep up with a cooking viral recipe, then maybe they can download a cooking app. And ladies and gentlemen, this is why diverse applications does not bring just drawbacks. It has convenience towards these students who are also growing people, not only in aspects of education, but also in aspects of entertainment, so that they can also have fun as young people. Now, let me restate my stance that we, the opposition, we oppose the motion set forth by the House that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones, because diverse applications brings a plethora of convenience towards these students. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wafa Iman.
Judges, the time was 7 minutes 39 seconds. 7 minutes 39 seconds.
Madam Speaker, let's proceed.
Okay. Next is Ms. Iman Idina as the second proposer from the government side. Ms. Idina, the floor is all yours.
All right, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good morning, I bid to the respected judges, accurate timekeeper, my worthy opponents, and also the members of the House. I, as the second speaker of the government's team, would like to totally support the motion set forth by the House today, that being this House believes that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones, under the case line that it is unnecessary and only disrupts the process of education. Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I present two of my points, I would like to outline the many flaws I found in the opposition's arguments. Starting with the first speaker of the opposition mentioned that by having diverse applications, it can ensure that these students will not be left behind. However, we believe that by using simpler apps and only having one app to cater for each category, we can meet the trend. You don't need multiple apps. Why make it difficult when you can make it simpler? Like my first speaker has stated, that we can only use the best apps that has the most function. So why need little apps where you can just get one app that has the most function? Quality over quantity, ladies and gentlemen. So she also mentioned that does it make any difference when we also have to install apps? Well, isn't that agreeing with us? That is why we need centralized apps. Let's say we only want to use Google Apps, so you only have to download Google Apps and sign in with the same account. So you don't need, let's say you want to do slides, you don't have to download Canva and Google Slides and Microsoft PowerPoint at the same time. That is why we can only use a single app for a single purpose. And she also mentioned that these students grew up with technology and they will definitely use it to the fullest. However, by using less apps, it is more convenient, saves your storage, and it doesn't bother you, and you can still meet the current trend. That's what I'm trying to say. And when she also mentioned that teacher don't assign single app for assignments, yes, I agree with that. That is why it's also fine to use one app. What's wrong with that? And she is also considering the fortunate, the ones who has access to a strong internet connection or good devices. She's not considering those who are unfortunate. And when she mentioned that these students have to keep up with the world and the entertainment because, well, they are also people. Well, she's not agreeing with our definition. We have already set our parameter that we are looking at education trend here. It is a student priority to get education. And she also mentioned that different apps cater to different trends. Well, let me ask you, can't they be uploaded on a single platform? Let's say she mentioned dancing trends and cooking videos and stuff. Can't they just be uploaded on a single platform? Let's say YouTube, for example. So with that, I will move on to my first point, that being that we do not agree that students need diverse applications because it could is used for teachers and students. So first of all, it is actually confusing when we use diverse applications, correct? Well, different platforms will make it harder because you have to make different accounts. You will have different usernames, different password. That's one hassle. And when we standardize everything, we can ensure that it is easier for everyone. According to edweek.org, students struggle with multiple platforms due to the fact that multiple platforms requires different accounts and generally difficult, and also it does not sync in between platforms. And when we have this kind of problem, this hassle, it kind of demotivates students to learn. They find it a hassle to learn. It demotivates them, and we do not want a decreased work productivity here. Instead of making it complex, why not? Let me ask you, why not make it more simpler and more accessible? Not all students are exposed to having that much applications and having to use multiple different softwares and having to learn all of that. So can they still meet the current trend if they do not have diverse applications and only have one application to serve for specific purpose? Yes. And actually, it makes it simpler, which lines up with our case line that it is unnecessary and only disrupts the process of education. It's a waste of time. So moving on to my second point. By having not so diverse applications, we can make it simpler for those who are unfortunate. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we can see from the news, from many articles and in the social media, we can see that these unfortunate people struggle with online learning and hybrid classes specifically because they require internet connection and mobile devices. So let's say if they're very unfortunate, they might only have one device per family. Well, this is already hard, and we have to consider the phone's processing speed, the storage, and also the durability. We can't expect them to have the latest model of iPhone for each single person and have multiple devices. Well, we already know that some have bad Wi-Fi connection to even join video conference. So how do you expect them to download so many apps when they can only download the simpler apps to serve for each purpose? We need to have equity in education. We need a fair education no matter the socioeconomic background. Children in poverty struggle to learn. We want to encourage them. We want them to feel included. We want them to follow the trend. So let us make it simpler for them. Why make this complicated? Why are we only considering these fortunate people like us here? So can they still follow the trend? Yes, only with basic apps, which is already good and makes it accessible for them. Not all students receive the same education. Not all students are born with a silver spoon in their mouth. It can help in communication and learning, and several apps in each category is actually unnecessary. And we are claiming that apps aren't important. We are just trying to use the administration's current provision of dilemma, and schools should not give emphasis on the use of multiple apps. Dilemma already offers a ton of feature with only one click, ladies and gentlemen. So Today, I, as the second speaker of the government's team, would like to support the motion set forth by the House, that being this House believes that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones under the case line that it is unnecessary and only disrupts the process of education. We believe that education is for everyone, no matter who you are. Thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you very much, Ms. Iman Idina.
Judges, the time was 7 minutes and 34 seconds. 7 minutes and 34 seconds.
Madam Speaker, let's proceed.
Okay. Next is the second proposer from the opposition side, Mr. Muhammad Imran. Whenever you're ready, the floor is all yours.
Hi, my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning I bid to all the wise adjudicators, respectable judges, accurate timekeepers, honorable opponents, members of the House. I, Muhammad Imran, as the second speaker of the opposition, would like to introduce some points of my own and will be rebutting some of the many flaws that I have found and will be pointing them out in the government's argument. We, as the opposition line, would like to oppose the motion set forth by the House, which states students don't need diverse apps on their phone to keep up with current trends. We are going to fight under the case line of diverse applications provide a plethora of convenience to students who are trying to keep up with current trends. Starting off with my first rebuttal. The Prime Minister of the government has stated and proposed that the schools are to adapt to the current circumstances of the world. As we know, we are in the endemic stage of the COVID-19 situation. And as we know, technological advancements are limitless at this point. They are beyond all possibilities. And let me ask you this, ladies and gentlemen. Wouldn't the students, our future generation, may I emphasize, then better should they be exposed to more diverse apps, to more opportunities of apps that they provide, that they propose? Why imprison ourselves from growth? Let's take Google Meet and Zoom, for example. They both provide the same functions. They are there for the people to call and to discuss important matters. Yet some people prefer to use one or the other according to preference. Preference, they make us comfortable to learn, easier to learn. We are setting ourselves free of imprisonment of growth. And the second speaker has also stated the priorities of a student is education. Of course, it is a priority for a student to uphold the education. Yet we are young, we are still growing, we need some type of entertainment, some type of trend to help us get through the hardships of life. And may I ask you this, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are all to agree as teenagers that we also have these so-called apps or apps of entertainment downloaded on our phone just as a little getaway from the hardships of school and studies. Before I go on to present my points, I would like to emphasize, ladies and gentlemen, members of the House, the importance of keeping up with trends, which is to maintain mental health. Let me give you an example, ladies and gentlemen. How devastated would you be to find out that one day you go to school and you have no idea what your friends are talking about? You are late to the current news or the latest news that are being set by the social media. By opposing this motion, we are proposing that it is easier to keep up with trends. Moving on to my first point. What better way to keep up with trends than to have access to where they originated from in the first place? As we all know, we live in a technological era. We live in the future where technological advancements are endless. Even the sky is no longer the limit. We no longer live in the past where we had to read newspapers or scroll through magazines or read on television news to keep up with current trends. We have the technological capabilities to discard those ancient methods. So why not, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, why not? Why set ourselves back? We can see that these different apps provide different effectivity and efficiency in the aspects that they teach us different things in different ways. Imagine the growth of our students, imagine the growth of our future generation. And as students, I could relate that apps have helped us so much. For example, Google Classroom, Photomap, Duolingo, they're all examples of help of apps, of applications that have served so many benefits. And I think we as teenagers in this room right now can all agree with that. They have helped us so much with our education, with our way of learning. And doing and submitting assignments to Google Classroom have become a trend all around the world due to this COVID-19 situation, rejected. Don't you see, can't you see the efficiency that these applications provide? Which leads me on to my second point. Diverse applications not only keep you up to date with current trends, they have also not left the educational center behind. Accepted.
Wouldn't it be more difficult to facilitate education if people use different apps?
As I've stated, thank you for your PI. As I have stated before, it wouldn't necessarily mean it would be easier to facilitate these apps. It would provide more functions, more accountability, more things that they could efficiency that these kids could learn from. Moving on to my second point, diverse apps not only keep you up to date with trends, they also have not left the educational sector behind. Trends don't only emphasize on entertainment. Educational trends are also a thing. The way a teacher speaks, the way a teacher teaches, the way a teacher guides their students could also be considered a trend. With the growth of technological capabilities, in this case, said apps, mean that trends, they provide a benefits of learning with a variety of effective ways. By doing this, students are simultaneously improving and following these different trends. Technology, as we know, is so much more advanced. And I emphasize to you, ladies and gentlemen, members of the House, we are living in a different era than we used to live. We are in an era where technological advancements are endless. The possibilities are endless than it used to be. So imagine the benefits. Imagine artificial intelligence being installed in classroom. Do you see how this could affect the students positively? Accepted.
How did your earlier point relate back to mental health?
That wasn't exactly my point. That was merely an inference to strengthen the importance of keeping up with trends. And as I have mentioned before, by us opposing this motion, it has proposed that keeping up with trends would be easier. Diverse applications, as stated by my Prime Minister, diverse applications provide a plethora of convenience to students, which make them easier. So, as I said, imagine apps like artificial intelligence being installed in classroom. Do you see how this could affect the students positively? Do you see how the possibilities of their growth? So, to sum up my speech, at the end of the day, we as the opposition team and teens ourselves agree with the effects of keeping up with trends. They could lead us to be negligent. They could lead us to stray away from our responsibility to uphold our education. But we as responsible students should learn how to block out these negativity and be a better student, be a better person. And this is why we as the opposition would strongly oppose the motion set forth by the government, which, may I restate, is that students, diverse applications are not needed by students to keep up with current trends. Thank you very much. That's all from me today.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imran. Now, we're waiting for the adjudicators.
Judges, the time was 7 minutes and 51 seconds. 7 minutes and 51 seconds.
Madam Speaker, let's proceed.
Okay. Now I would like to call upon Mr. Mohammed Wafi as the third proposer from the government side. Mr. Wafi, the floor is all yours.
I'm going to start my speech in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I would bid a good day to the honorable judges, respectful judges, honorable timekeeper, worthy opponents, and members of the House. Now, I, as the third speaker, will not be introducing any new points, but will be rebutting and pointing out the flaws made in the opposition side and also strengthening my team's case. Now, so I would like to start off. So I'm just going to repeat the motion that we support the government. So we believe that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphones because it is unnecessary and disrupts the process of education. Now, we are suggesting that we have given one to each category, which is the best, so it can easily standardize and make students learn. Because again, like they stated, that education is the number one importance of a student. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone can agree on that, right? So, and okay, so and I'm going to start off to pointing out the flaws made in the second speaker, right? He gave an analogy which I say is bad, right? His analogy was that imagine you went to school and then your friends knew trends that you did not know. But that's exactly our case here. When you have different applications, people might know other things. So what we're saying is when you standardize one, everyone can know the same thing, everyone can follow on the same path, everyone will be equal, everyone will be trained equal. Because like my second speaker said, not everyone is as fortunate as you think they are. Everyone is different. So if we can't make their situations the same, why we should try to make their education learning the same. Now, he also gave examples of great different applications that is helped, such as Classroom and Duolingo. But as we stated, as you can see, those are two different aspects. Classroom is for doing homework assignments and Duolingo is for language learning. But we stated that we would give the best app in that field. So technically, his case is helping ours because again, that we stated, we just want the best. Did you PY?
Yes.
Accepted.
I didn't exactly mention that they are Google Classroom, Duolingo, Photomath. I didn't exactly mention that they are the same apps who provide the same functions. I've just stated that the only thing they have in common is that they have helped us all, teenagers, throughout this hardships of our life.
Exactly my point. They have helped you to hardship in life because you used one, right? Did you use multiple? No, you used one because it was the best, it was the easiest and the most convenient. Okay. And then he gave out the rebuttal that technical advancements are limitless. But again, we as the government, we aren't saying that we shouldn't learn with different education. But like the motion says, students do not need diverse applications. They do not need diversity to follow the current trends, which we believe when you have one standardized, it does follow the current trends, right? So just because it has a lesser number of apps can already enable students to keep up with trends. And again, we are focusing on the educational side, ladies and gentlemen. Why? Because students need to learn. Students are, again, children. They are still in their developing phase. So why disrupt them? We should make it easier and more convenient for them to learn. Okay? And basically, but when he's saying that, isn't that kind of running away from the motion at hand here? Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying they do not need, not we shouldn't use. We are just giving a suggestion why they are not needed to follow current trends. And I would like to move on to the first speaker now. And then she tried to rebut my first speaker where she was saying you can use emails and they're bad because it's a bad example. Because when you log into any of the diverse applications, you can just use Gmail. But again, that's helping our case because why? You are agreeing with one standardized email, like because there's Yahoo and everything, but it's usually Google. With one standardized Gmail, it is easier and more efficient and more convenient for this student to use. I accept it.
She was referring to emails, but the motion is referring to applications, emails, accounts, and applications aren't exactly the same thing.
No, but here's the thing. This was kind of an analogy because we're just saying when one is standardized, but is as good as diverse. Why would you choose the diverse where it's more complicated when it could be the simpler one? All right. And again, I would just like to state that we are not saying that they shouldn't use it. We just don't need them because one is easier. Okay. And we are only focusing on the educational side because, as I stated before, education is the number one importance of a student. And we believe that students deserve the right to learn without being distracted, without being the hassle of wondering, what if I do not download this app? Will I be lost in the trend? Which we agree, no. Okay,
POI,
accepted.
you mentioned that students should only or maybe they should prioritize their education as number one. Then, are you saying that students don't need an escapism from the stress of having to shoulder the burden of having to prioritize their education?
That's kind of running away from the topic here, because all I'm saying is, does it follow the current trends of smartphones? And as we stated, the education. Now, what you're saying is about the escapism of children, that they can handle that themselves. So that's a little bit irrelevant in this case. And okay, so to end off my speech, I would like to summarize everything stated by my team, the government. So my first speaker, Mr. Faiz, said standardized learning environment increases productivity due to when it's easier, people don't have to think about the hassle and the work, the hardships of it. So then they can do it with ease without having to worry. Because when, ladies and gentlemen, if you worry, you do not perform your best, correct? And then the first point of my second speaker was, it was the easier to use for teachers and students, which again, yes, when it's all relied on one, having to switch apps, switch this, switch that, it's super hard to keep switching, and it will again confuse the student, which again under the case line, which is unnecessary and disrupts the process of education. And the last one is accessible for all, because she is also acknowledging the fact that you guys are not acknowledging, which is the fact of unfortunate students. Because again, we are not fed with a silver spoon, not all of us, only some of us, only the fortunate ones. So we should also take accountability about what they have. Because as the first speaker said, Ina said that when we have to download all the apps, when it's all standardized, technically, when you have diverse applications, you again have to download all the apps, probably even more. Okay. So at the end of my speech, I would just like to restate the stance we have as the government. So we, the House, believe these motions that students do not need diverse applications to make current trends on their smartphone, because it is unnecessary and disrupts the process of education. And we have already stated that we would only give the one app for each category to make it easier and the most quality, the best for the student, without having to make them worry. And then we only touch the aspect of education because, ladies and gentlemen, we can agree, and you would agree, that education is the number one importance of a student, and we should not disturb them because, again, stated, they are our future generations. So why make them worry? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wafi.
Judges, the time was 8 minutes. 8 minutes.
Judges,
Madam
may we
Speaker?
proceed?
Let's proceed.
Okay. Next, I would like to call upon the third opposer from the opposition side, Mr. Imran Naim, whenever you're ready.
Hello. All right. Okay, so my time will start in 3, 2, 1. Hello and a very good morning. I bid to all the respectable judges, accurate timekeepers, and the fellow members of the House. I, Imran Naim, will be the third speaker, will not be providing any new points, but will be rebutting whole of government's arguments. First of all, I would like to state our case line. We, as the opposition, strongly oppose the motion because we strongly believe that it brings a plethora of conveniences to the students. Notice that we are like prioritizing the students, ladies and gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to point out the many flaws in my opponent's debate. Before that, I would also like to say that the government side are obviously fighting a losing fight since they are making such claims such as quality over quantity. But we all know, we all can relate the fact that variety of choices are so much better than limiting to just one option, right? So, such as when they say Google, they want to use like Google
QI.
as rejected. Let me finish my point first. When the government side says that we should like use Google just standardize one app just to like facilitate our daily lives or routines. Why must we just go to only one app? We need a variety of apps according to our own preferences, because each person has different preferences, such as the third speaker has said that each people are different. So each different are different and they have different preferences. So that's leading why we should have variety of apps. Accepted.
We didn't say that we will use just one app, just one standardized platform. We allocated one app for each use and category.
Okay, thank you for your POI. Well, even though this you should not, you didn't say that you should, but you still say that we should. You still say that we should not have more apps, and that we should not have like more opportunities or more variety of apps. That is just simply wrong, because more is better sometimes. Sometimes more is better because creativity, that's how creativity is like produced. You need more experiences, you need more education so that you can have, you also need more sources so you can have more information. So you can further have better understanding of some things. Now, to rebut, rejected. First of all, the third speaker has stated that these children, these students are in their developing stage. This actually helping our case actually, because these students are, yes, they are in the developing stage. Further, that's why further have to have the reasons why we should have like variety of apps, because they're still finding themselves, they're still like fitting themselves in society, right? They're still finding their preferences. So we should give them variety of options so that they have more preferences. Again, I would like to clarify, these children, these students should also be acknowledged that they should prioritize. We do acknowledge that they should prioritize their education. Education is always first, but still, with all the pressure, with all the stress, they still need a place to have an outlet. Accept it.
Do you accept it?
Yes.
Okay, so when you said that children, they want to fit into society, if we're not under one standardized system, would it not make it easier for them to jump in and fit in with society?
Yeah, fit in with society, a diverse society with different preferences, different people, different reasons to have apps. That's how we live. That is society. That is the economy. That is the world right now. We do not assume a person that has just one thing. We know that they have other preferences. They like other things. Some like chocolate, some like vanilla, some like strawberries. Just like that. We all have our own preferences, and we do not judge each other. Now,
So
moving on,
POI.
speaker rejected. Moving on to the second speaker of the government. Why must she stated that why must we need data apps to complicate like our facilitate around the apps? It's better, like I said, it's better to have more sources of information. And it's like having a second opinion on some things. We have more sources, we can have more opinions, we can have more diverse knowledge, and we have like wide range of knowledges after that. So this is why I say more is better than just one. And moving on to the first speaker, when he says, he stated that we do need why do we need a diverse applications if we can have like just one that controls it all. Again, furthering, I cannot stress this enough how serious these apps are, because these how serious these we need these apps are, because we as like people, we need other apps to help like our own, like we have our own preferences, so other apps will also help that, right? Because each app has a unique feature. On
POI.
like TikTok, they do like trends. That's how they originated from. Accept it.
So I think you're straying away from the topic. We're not debating if lesser or more apps is better or not. We're debating if not so diverse apps can still help the students to meet the trends, not if they're better or not.
Yes, well, I'm still stating. Thank you, by the way, maybe but still, I'm still stating that more diverse, more apps, diverse apps, different apps also helps the other apps, so we can also be like be more better thing. Because if I take Canva for example, you take that for presentation, and then you use other preferences from like Google. Yeah, that's how these
POI.
help each other with our preferences. Rejected. Right now, I would like to summarize my teammates' points. For my first speaker, she says not all applications cater to certain trends. Yeah, we all can agree that we think it's better to learn about current trends through other apps, such as TikToks, because TikToks have different features, unique features that doesn't have on other apps. The second for the second point from my first speaker also stated that educators try their best to implement the latest educational developments. So this also helps the educational trends. We would like to clarify. We also believe that these students should prioritize educations, and that's what these apps provide. And also, my second speaker also said that diverse apps not only keeps you up to date with trends, but also has not let the educational sectors behind. Thank you. That's all from me.
Thank you very much, Mr. Imran.
Judges, the time was 8 minutes and 2 seconds. 8 minutes and 2 seconds. Thank you.
Judges, may we proceed?
Current speaker, let's proceed.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, now it's the time for the reply speech round. A reminder that both teams will be given a total of 3 minutes to prepare and discuss the reply speech, and 4 minutes will be given for their delivery of the reply speech. Debaters, your 3 minutes starts now. Your preparation time is up. And now, ladies and gentlemen, now is the time for the reply speech. Let us first listen to the representative from the opposition side. Your 4 minutes starts now.
So, hello and a good morning again, ladies and gentlemen. I am here again to deliver to you my reply speech on behalf of the opposition, where I will be outlining the flaws in the debate of the government. Now, before I get into my speech, I would like Now, I will get into my speech. First of all, the government has completely disregarded the fact that these students are young people. When we mention students to people who are still in educational institutes, who are still learning, when we say students, we think of young people. And these young people, as I have mentioned, these young people, they not only have the need to keep up with trends in education, they also want to keep up with trends in other aspects, especially in aspects of entertainment, as I have stated earlier during my speech. So the government has completely disregarded this. They kept saying that students should prioritize their education. But yes, my third speaker has already clarified that we, the opposition, like we acknowledge that yes, students need to prioritize their education, but they also need outlets to release the stress that they receive from having pressure to excel in their educations. They still need an outlet for that. And next, the government also said that it disrupts education as their case line. They stated that these diverse apps will only disrupt their education. But ladies and gentlemen, how can the government prove that students who use diverse applications to keep up with trends won't succeed academically? How can they prove that? Ladies and gentlemen, they did not clarify how they will prove that students who use diverse applications to keep up with trends can't excel in education, even if they use those diverse apps for entertainment and not educational purposes. How can you prove that these students won't excel academically? And then they also use the analogy of emails. They use email as an analogy for a standardized platform. But we're talking about applications here. Then why use emails as an analogy when you can just simply use applications as the analogy, which we are focusing on right now? Applications that these students need to keep up with current trends, whether it be in aspects of educational trends or entertainment trends. It goes both ways, ladies and gentlemen. And not only that, but they also said about, as I've already mentioned, that they said of how students should prioritize education as their number one priority. And my third speaker has already clarified that yes, we do acknowledge that, but can you expect these students to not find an outlet of escapism on their smartphone when they are being pressured to always succeed in their education? So this also plays a role as to why students need these diverse applications to meet with current trends, not only in the aspects of education, but also entertainment, ladies and gentlemen. So this is why this debate should be on the side of the opposition. And that is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ms. Wafa Iman.
Judges, the time was 3 minutes and 23 seconds. 3 minutes and 23 seconds.
Let's proceed, Madam Speaker.
Okay. Next up is the representative from the government side. Your 4-minute delivery starts now.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I'll start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. A very good morning. I am the Prime Minister on the side of the government, and I will be delivering the reply speech. First of all, I'd like to outline the major clash of today's debate. I believe that we are both agreed that students are still in their developing stage, but we have said different things on this topic. We have said we on the side of the governments have said that using diverse applications would make it hard to follow on in education, but they have said that it's putting a limit on their creativity. So here starts the disagreements in our debate. First of all, I'd like to have a brief overview of all the points. On the side of the government, we have said that it would lead to increased productivity and greater ease of use for teachers and students, and making it accessible for all people, regardless of their wealth bracket or their accessibility or who they are. Everyone deserves equal education, especially in trying times when we cannot physically meet each other in person and when things like internet connection uh, influence our education. On the side of the opposition, they have stated points relating to diverse applications allow for people to follow current trends, and they need to be exposed to more options. Now, here's the thing. Here's the recurring factor we notice on the side of the opposition is that they're constantly straying away from the parameters and definitions that we've outlined. They've stated that the keyword here is smartphones in the motion, but we disagree. We say that the keyword here is need. Do they need diverse applications to meet current trends in education? You are constantly straying away. You have stated things like escapism, which is irrelevant to education. It does ed, does escapism fall under education? No. So we're not debating on that matter. If you wish to download things like TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, then that's all up to you. We're not making the decision of that escapism. We are merely debating on the topic of education. We are not ruling on that matter. Other than that, we uh, this they have also said that uh, quality over quantity is not true, but we disagree with that. When they say that more is better, we disagree. In this case, we say more is less, as it takes away from the final goal we're trying to push here, delivering education to to the students. So having more choice or more applications being diverse, what are we really getting here? We're creating longer paths between point A and point B, whereas it should be clear cut and straightforward, indeed, direct. Now, we never said that users of diverse applications can't succeed. We merely want to streamline the process of education in classrooms and in the administration of education. Other than that, we have also provided at least 2 POIs per speaker on the side of the opposition, whereas I believe that I, as the Prime Minister, and my second speaker have not received any POIs at all, leading to the conclusion that we have a greater strategy than the side of the opposition, and that they are silently agreeing with us about because they are not providing the sufficient amount of POIs per speaker. Overall, I believe that we have provided a more substantial case and more compelling argument for the side of the opposition of the government, and we strongly believe that today's motion should be passed, being that this House believes that students do not need diverse applications to meet current trends on their smartphone. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Faiz.
Judges, the time was 3 minutes and 55 seconds. 3 minutes and 55 seconds.
Judges, may we continue?
Let's proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the floor, we have heard the views from both of the government side and the opposition side. Now it all lies in the hands of our honorable adjudicators. For now, all of the contestants must stay in the Google Meet and make sure your camera is on and at all times. Judges, you may go in the breakout rooms provided. Your rooms have been opened. Judges, you can discuss in that room. Thank you. Miss Tan, have you got the link? Have you got? Do you get the invitation to the breakout room?
Let's see. Okay, now now it's
Okay.
all right.
To the part.
I'm sorry. One of my speakers is just getting her charger because her laptop ran out of battery.
Okay, our adjudicators, our panel of adjudicators, are back, and I would like to call upon Mr. Nityan to give a general comment about the debate. Sir, the floor is all yours. Mr. Nityan, calling out to Mr. Nityan to give the general comment.
Thank you, Miss Speaker. Can you hear me? Ladies
Yes,
and
sir.
gentlemen, boys and girls. All
Yes.
right. Nice to meet you again and finally have a chat and of course give away my so-called oral education. Um, all right. Sorry, it took us a while because there was a sort of like a heated argument there as well because it was one of the best debates so far we've seen this year. Of course, you guys are the finals, right? So, what can I say? Well, I keep it. Try to keep it sweet and short. First of all, right? The timing for today's debate was perfect, next to perfect. All of you did a very good job in timing. I don't know how you did it. We've noticed there were a couple of debaters who actually ended up sharp on the 8 minute when we heard the bell. I don't know how you guys did it, but well, that was good. That was good. And then this time around, the POIs were better. But I would suggest the next time around, when you go for the national level, you need to be a little more. You need to be a bit more progressive and daring enough to provide more POIs. Today it was like I expected more, but it was not bad all in all, and the POIs were good as well, and they were answered. Thank you. So it was worth asking and worth listening to the response, so we got everything jotted down with us. And then next, the language used today, oh, I loved it. I don't know where you kids got your accent. All right. Okay, it seems like some of you are from some sort of like international schools. All right, so that was good. So I enjoyed listening to it. Now, when we talk about the motion itself, okay, today it is a tough motion, but then it's always is, right? I've noticed that the debaters, you knew your roles very well. Okay, you've stated your roles and you've stated your case line and your rebuttals. The government, we noticed that today you played safe. You wanted to play safe by focusing on uh, education per se, all right? Because we have the keyword students here. We noticed that, okay? But it's your choice. While the opposition today was actually kind of brave enough, to venture into the real life situation. I mean, let's face it, students, you do have a life of your own after school. It's not all about education. So it's a mix of, it has to be a well balanced mix. You were going for that, okay? So, but then of course, don't forget, we do have a motion tabled by the government, which we need to adhere and always got to get back into reality of that debate for the spirit of debate itself. All in all, it was a good debate and it was a very tough decision, but it was but somehow we have the result. Okay, so before the result is being announced, I would like to congratulate every debaters here. Okay, you did a very good job. Keep it up. All right, always strive forward. Once a debater, always a debater. So I need hand it over back to you, Miss Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to call upon Ms. Tan as the Chief Judge to announce the best debater and today's winner. Madam, the
Thank
floor is
you.
all yours.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The results for today's debate. The best debater goes to Wafa Iman, Opposition 1. Congratulations.
All right.
And the winning team, on a split of 3-2, this House accepts the motion for today and the win goes to side government. congratulations. Back to you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Madam. Congratulations to all the debaters. To me personally, I see all of you as winners. You have worked hard, and all of you are very talented, bright students, and you've made your schools proud. Thank you to the panel of honest educators. It was a really smooth ride while working with all of you. On behalf of the technical team and the host, SMK Putrajaya President 11-1, we would like to apologize for any shortcomings. We would definitely improve next time since it was our first time ever becoming the host for a debate competition online. I'm hoping to see all of you next year. I'm Nisreen.
And I'm Zahira.
That's all from us. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you
Congratulations.
very much. Congratulations, both teams.
Congratulations, everyone. All the best.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, debaters.
Congratulations.